The worst part of getting one of these mics for your sound system is when they don't work. Hey guys, it's JuanMD. I'm Juan, I'm an MD, and on JuanMD, I talk all about my life as a doctor, doing doctor stuff like taking care of patients, studying, and making the most of my Juan life to live. For today's audio, I'm just gonna have to do with the audio of my webcam and the audio recording of my phone. Hopefully that will suffice. In one of my previous videos, I talked about 5 academic resources that I used to study for the physician licensure exam, or the PLE, which is essentially the boards for doctors in the Philippines. However, I also said that in addition to stuff that you study, social, emotional, psychological, and spiritual support are very important. These are of equal, if not greater importance, might I say, to studying. But these are very easily overlooked. We doctors are not just robots. We're not just computers that absorb information, but we're humans and we have human needs. No wonder so many students now are so prone to negative, self-defeating emotions and burnout when they study for these tough exams. That's why on today's video, I'm going to be talking all about the non-academic resources that are important for reviewing for the Philippine licensure exams, or for any exams for that matter. Consider this part 2 of that previous video, which if you haven't seen it yet, why not? While you're at it, why don't you hazard a guess at what time of day I'm recording this video? Leave your guesses in the comments down below. Note that everything I'm going to share to you is from my own unique experience, and it's ultimately your responsibility to balance everything, the academic and non-academic resources. It's very important at the bottom of it all that you understand yourself as a person so that you can apply all of these tips in a balanced, personalized way. Without further ado, let's begin. You've all probably heard the phrase, "no man is an island." In my previous video, I mentioned that studying with friends, even on an online platform such as Zoom or Facebook Messenger, really helped me a lot in preventing me from burnout. My friends helped me to keep track of what I was studying, and seeing other people studying alongside me was very encouraging and helped me to keep on pushing on with my studies. Truth is, as human beings, we are social in both nature and design. From the moment that you were conceived, you relied on someone else for your life, and growing up, that never changed. We all depend on other people for our own well-being. In studying for my boards, I really have so many people to thank. I have to thank my school because my school was very supportive to all the students. Our very own dean scheduled video calls with all of us to make sure that we were doing well. My review center, top-notch medical board prep, would check in on us, make sure we were doing well, give us all these announcements, and answered questions that we had about the boards in order to quell our individual anxieties. My friends from the lower batches in medical school, they were also very encouraging. They helped facilitate our transportation to the board venue, and they even gave us these little trinkets of encouragement to encourage us to push on and do well with our board review. I had a mentor who, despite herself being halfway across the world in the United States, gave me grounded advice on how to strategize my study schedule. I had friends from other medical schools with whom I'd meet up regularly, and we'd pray and encourage each other spiritually. I also met regularly with a group of non-doctors who listened to my concerns. We would pray together. These people helped me not to lose sight of my why, my reason for becoming a doctor. I'm actually gonna talk more about this in the later parts of this video. Finally, my own family would check up on me regularly, sending me food, reminding me to take care of myself, sending me cheers of encouragement. And it was helpful that though my family themselves don't have a background in medicine, they tried their best to understand my predicament as a medical student. Needless to say, social support is very important. But even if you get all the care from all the people in the world, this means nothing if you don't take care of yourself. And the next few pointers are going to discuss that. Like I said, social support is very important, but it's also very important that you take care of your own body. It's ironic that a lot of doctors tell our patients to take care of themselves when doctors themselves tend to neglect their own health, especially when things get very stressful. They forget that they are humans too. While studying for the boards, it's important that you develop your own discipline in managing your diet and managing your exercise patterns. I regret not having been able to exercise the way that I usually like to do it. See, I love running, but when there's a lockdown, I'm very scared of taking a step outside. So I just did indoor routine. Push-ups, I did sit-ups, I did jumping jacks, whatever I could to move around the best way possible. And also, diet is especially important because whatever you put in your body is itself going to contribute to how your body develops. Your brain is an organ and it needs a lot of energy. You might remember from your own studies that your brain relies on glucose and if not ketone bodies in order to develop energy. Your neurons are always firing. They have so many mitochondria in their cell bodies. Needless to say, they need a lot of energy. In addition to energy, you need to make sure that you get the correct nutrients. We all know that vitamin B, especially vitamin B12, are very important for your nerve development. Your body is continually making nucleic acids. And what do you need for making nucleic acids? Folate. A lot of blood is circulating throughout your body. And what do you need to make your blood? Well, you need iron, right? Not to mention all of the protein, not to mention all of the healthy fatty acids that your body needs. To get a variety of nutrients, you need to eat a variety of foods. It's important that you try to avoid the instant noodles and the chips and try to get a good mix of meats and vegetables. We should all know this, but really, it's so easy to forget this sometimes. Now I've addressed your physical needs. Next, it's time to address your emotional needs. Sometimes when you're so stressed and you're trying to take in all of this information, you need some sort of release, a healthy kind of release. And for me, that release is in art, expressing myself. If you didn't notice from some of my videos, I love doing art. I love writing songs, I love drawing, I love animating. I love making videos. That's why I have this channel in the first place. I really love turning to art when things get very stressful. It's very important to be able to let out whatever feelings you may have building up inside and express it to the world in a way that represents you best. For me, art isn't just a way to express myself, but it's also a way for me to synthesize my learnings. I love drawing. I love sculpting, especially when it comes to stuff like anatomy, when it comes to stuff like diagrams, biochemistry, and microbiology. Art really helps me to synthesize what I'm learning in a way that's creative and out of the box. Now, not all of you may be visually artistic, but everybody is creative in one way or another. Some of you might love writing poetry, others love dancing. Some of you might say that you're not artistic. I don't believe that. All of us have an innate sense of creativity and all of us have something to share with the world around us. Are you liking this video so far? If you like it, why don't you like it? Because I really like it if you liked it and you liked it. Art is a great avenue for you to keep your emotional and mental health in check. This next one is very important for your physical, emotional, and mental health. Something that a lot of medical students take for granted is their sleep patterns. I want to talk. What time is it right now? It's 5 a.m. if you haven't guessed. One thing that a lot of medical students like to take for granted, and doctors might I even say, is their sleep. We tell our patients that it's good to sleep on a regular basis, go to bed at the regular time, wake up at the regular time, but sometimes we don't do that ourselves. And that's sad. Really, rest is very important for your body to recuperate from whatever tiring things that you did the day before. We know that when you think hard, when you study hard, or even, do repetitive activities, a complete sleep cycle prepares you for an entirely new day. Sleep helps your brain to retain memories of whatever went through in the day before. You can do an all-nighter, cram really hard for a huge exam, and you might even do well on that exam. But that's gonna be very short term because after that exam is done, you're gonna forget almost everything. As compared to studying on a regular basis with spaced repetition and good sleep patterns, that's a much more effective way for you to study. Sleeping helps your brain to strengthen those neural connections, reinforcing memories and helping you to recall information. Plus, people who spend nights without sleep have similar mental patterns to people who are drunk. And you don't want to enter the PLE with a brain that's as good as drunk. Sleep is very important. Now, this next one might cause some of you to raise a few eyebrows, but believe me, it helps. I'm a YouTuber, and as a YouTuber, I really love going to YouTube. See, in between study breaks, it really helps to take a break from all of that sciencey medical information and to just think of something else entirely. And that's why I had YouTube. Although, admittedly, I would still watch some medical channels, these weren't as toxic as the stuff that I was reviewing. Giving yourself a chance to have some healthy, lighthearted entertainment, it won't hurt. As long as you do this in a disciplined way, like limiting the hours that you spend on YouTube, it helps. Sometimes the content there can get really controversial. And quite frankly, when I'm studying for the boards and I'm taking a break, that's not the kind of material that I want to expose myself to. Instead, subscribe to some nice lighthearted channels and give yourself a break so that when you go back to studying, your mind is refreshed, relaxed, and ready to take in more information. And finally, here's my last point. As a Christian, my spiritual life is very important to me. My relationship with Jesus Christ is an essential element of my reasons for living. And that's why I thought it was very important to keep on refreshing myself spiritually. That included reading the Bible, that included praying, that included meeting regularly with other people who also believed in the same things that I believe. I would meet every week with this group called Agape Philippines, where previous board takers and now doctors would give us messages of encouragement, reminding us of our reason for becoming doctors, reminding us of our purpose for becoming doctors, which is essentially just to glorify Christ. Our reason and our purpose for becoming doctors. As I said, I also met with non-doctors on a regular basis. Their unique non-medical perspectives would also give me insight on my purpose in life. In medical school, they'll always tell you to always remember your why. And as for me, keeping my spirituality in check always reminded me of Christ, who is my why, who is my reason for becoming a doctor. So let's do a quick recap of the 6 pointers I provided. You can easily remember these using the mnemonic SHARES: social support, health, art, rest, entertainment, and spirituality. This is also a reminder that a good medical student shares this video with their friends whom they think will need it the most. What about you? If you already took the board exams and there's other non-academic resources that you think helped you with your boards, why don't you share it in the comments below so other people can benefit? Likewise, if you're currently studying for the boards, is there anything else that you think is helping you right now? If you like this video, why don't you press the thumbs up button and please let me know in the comments below. Click on subscribe and hit the bell so that you can stay tuned for future updates. Speaking of updates, I'm currently reviewing pathology for the USMLE and it's getting pretty tough. I hope though that I'll be able to stay on track with my video schedule. If there's anything that you'd like me to talk about, why don't you suggest in the comments down below. Before we end, it's time for our word of the day. And that's it for today, guys. Until next time, this has been Juan. Remember to always live life to the fullest because you only have one life to live. That wasn't bad. That was not bad.